Hey, I wish you wouldn't be so defensive. I mean, I just wanted you to have breakfast with me.
Here you go.
Hi.
Thank
Want
you.
some coffee?
Sure.
Please.
We're engaged.
Oh, great.
Thank you. Peter, when you talk to strangers like that, it's very embarrassing.
Hey, we're engaged. I'm proud of it. I think all the time all the great things we're going to be doing the rest of our lives.
I guess everything's just happened so quickly.
Oh, yeah, but not if you think of how long we've known each other.
I don't mean that. I mean, getting out of prison and my new job. Oh, and then
And what?
your mother.
Oh, I thought we settled that last night.
You may have, but I haven't. Look, Peter, it's very obvious that your mother thinks we ought to wait. To get married, I mean.
Yeah, and I said we're not interested in her experience. It's our experiences that count.
I know. But what if she's right?
What are you telling me?
Maybe we ought to wait.
So is there any word on Dave's bail?
Not that I know of.
Gosh, I just wish they'd let him go. I mean, how could anyone think that he's a criminal?
Well, he has to go through the system. Due process of law.
Yeah, but I thought it was supposed to be that you're innocent until you're proven guilty.
Yes, but unfortunately, once you're arrested, most people assume you're guilty.
I miss you.
I miss you. Once Dave's cleared of all this mess, I won't have to put in so much time at the clinic. Speaking of which, I better get going. I'll get it.
Dr. Benjamin Martin,
Yes.
I have a subpoena for you, sir.
So what does it say?
Well, it says I'm supposed to appear in court in 2 weeks.
Nancy?
Yes, she's brought suit for malpractice.
Well, I don't want to see it.
Hey, Laurie, wait, Laurie. Look, you knew this was going to happen.
No.
And so did I.
No, I didn't know. I really didn't think that she would go through with this.
Now, you know her better than I do, and you really didn't think she would sue?
No, I don't know her. That's why I'm so angry, Ben. She is my aunt. She's my flesh and blood, and I don't understand her. I don't see how she can turn on you like this.
Honey, come here, Laurie. Come on.
She owes you everything.
Well, she just doesn't see it that way.
What do you mean? You saved her life. If you hadn't tracked her down that night, she would have killed herself.
I know. It makes me wonder sometimes about being a doctor.
I don't know. I really thought she had changed. Everyone thought she had changed.
Deep down inside, I did too. But, honey, we were all wrong.
Well, we're not going to take this lying down.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for Doug Hughes' phone number. He said he'd represent you, didn't he? Here, call him.
What time is it? Well, I better call him at home.
He is a good lawyer, isn't he?
Well, he's supposed to be. I've only known him as a friend. I've never dealt with him professionally.
Well, has he ever handled a malpractice suit before?
You know, I didn't even ask him, but he seemed familiar enough with the technicalities.
Hello?
Yes, Doug, this is Ben Martin.
Ben, hey, what's up?
I'm holding in my hand here a subpoena that says I have to appear in court in about 2 weeks. Could we meet someplace and discuss this thing?
Yeah, did you just get it?
Yes, a few minutes ago.
Where are you calling from, the clinic?
No, I'm at home.
Okay, listen, I'll tell you what. I was just about to leave my apartment anyway. Why don't I stop by your place in a few minutes?
That'd be great.
Okay, I'll see you then.
Well, thank you.
Sure thing.
So what did he say?
He's going to drop by here in a few minutes.
That's service, isn't it? Okay, I'll make some coffee. Ben?
Yeah?
What did you mean when you said, sometimes you wonder about being a doctor?
You really want to know?
Yeah?
After a while, some things lose their luster, including the profession you choose. I really don't know if I have any business being a doctor anymore. I don't even know if I want to be one.
You don't want to marry me?
You're avoiding the issue.
I'm avoiding the issue.
Look, I would be a fool to marry you, to rush into this if it meant alienating your family.
You're not marrying my family, you're marrying me.
There's an old proverb that says otherwise.
Any reservations that my family or anybody has about this will be wiped away when they see how perfect we are. Trust me.
Well, everything seems to be in order here. I assume you can make this court date.
Of course.
Here's your coffee, Dad.
Doug said
Thanks.
the hospital's being sued as well.
Oh, no.
Yeah, right. Listen, I want to see Lester Lewis, you know, sort of feel him out. Maybe I can get a collaboration going with some of the hospital attorneys on this.
Listen, don't expect too much from Lester Lewis on my behalf.
Well, let me deal with him. I mean, whether he likes it or not, you're both in this together.
Doug, do you know Nancy Lawson at all?
Well, no, just from what Ben's told me about her.
Well, I'll tell you now, she's in it for the money, Doug. I mean, if you really pressured her, I mean, if she was really pressured, she'd have to admit that she's glad to be alive and that she's alive because of Ben.
Well, be that as it may, I don't think Nancy Lawson exactly has Ben's best interests at heart. I mean, she's like most people. She thinks of insurance companies as huge, menacing corporations with unlimited resources. And she thinks it's a drop in the bucket for the insurance company. Of course, the insurance company doesn't feel that way. Look, I'm just trying to tell you what Nancy's thinking.
Well, I'm thinking about Ben's reputation and his honor.
Try my medical license.
Look, don't worry. I mean, if it's up to me, I'll do the best I can. I'll clear you of any malpractice charges. After all, it's not like you're in this by yourself. I expect full cooperation from the hospital, and the insurance company, of course, will put its best defensive lawyers at your disposal. And that reminds me, in fact, I'll probably drop by the insurance company and see their attorneys as soon as I've seen Lester Lewis at the hospital.
Listen, Doug, we really appreciate what you're doing. I mean, I know all that you and Ben have been through together in college and then starting your practices together and fighting that Charles Carpenter thing with Hollis.
Yeah, look. I mean, even if we weren't just friends, I mean, it's my job to look after Ben's best interests. Well, listen, I'll see you. I'll keep in touch, and I'll keep you posted.
Thank you. Bye, Doug.
Bye.
Ben, it's going to be all right. I can just feel it.
I wish I did.
Listen, don't forget your lunch.
Yeah. All right, I'll see you later.
Need some coffee?
No, thanks.
You sure now? I just made a fresh pot.
Don't want to seem impatient here, but I want to get to the bottom of Kate's murder as much as you do, Sergeant.
I'm sure you do. Ugh. Why does it always smell better than it tastes, huh?
I don't suppose you've been able to get any more out of Dave Phillips.
No, he's still being detained, but we just need to know a little more about your whereabouts, your schedule, that kind of thing.
The night of the murder.
Yeah.
Mind if I ask why?
You certainly may. But it's just routine, Mr. Carruthers.
Of course. Well, that's easy. I was in Perryville.
But you didn't honeymoon in Perryville, did you?
Oh, no, you're quite right. Kate and I had reservations at Avalon Springs. We had both decided that my campaign commitments would come first if there was no way that I could get out of them. In this case, there was no way out.
What's in Perryville?
Cows, mostly. It's the district's largest dairy community, and I had to meet with a group of farmers in the morning.
How come she didn't go with you?
Well, we discussed that, and it was Kate's wish, and mine too, quite frankly, that she stay and rest while she had the chance. Because the Wedding preparations had taken a great deal out of her, and I saw no sense in having her tramping around the pastures of Perryville at the crack of dawn. Besides, I had decided to rejoin her as my schedule permitted.
So as far as you knew, she was still in Avalon?
Yes, as far as I knew.
Why do you suppose she went to Kingsley?
Frankly, I don't know. We had discussed some flexibility in her plans, but I had no idea she was going to return to Kingsley as soon as she did.
Weren't you in touch with her at all during that time?
Well, yes, to some degree, but see, I was on the move from one place to another most of the time.
I hate to ask a personal question like this. I'm really sorry, but it's absolutely necessary, Mr. Carruthers. Did you two have any kind of honeymoon?
You mean, did we consummate the marriage? No. But then, we are obviously too mature. We were obviously two mature people who had decided to just delay our plans, our personal plans, for a while. Kate and I were partners in politics and in love, and it's very few men who have such a full and promising relationship ahead of them. I'm sorry, please excuse me.
Oh, that's all right. Now, you were in Perryville the night the murder took place, is that right?
That's right.
Does that mean you were there all night?
Yes, all night.
It's not very far from Perryville to Kingsley. You could have driven up to see the dairy farmers and come back. Well, what is it, an hour or 45 minutes?
Sergeant, I promised you my full cooperation. And I resent the implication you think I have something to hide.
I'm sorry that it sounded that way, but I have to ask these kind of questions to anybody who's that closely associated to the deceased.
Right, I was at the Golden Inn all night, and you can check that out. And the reason that I was there is that we had to get some rest and then get up early in the morning to go over a speech that I was to give to the farmers that morning.
Who is we?
No, I'm sorry. My campaign manager, Sebastian Knight, and myself.
Well, I'm quite sure you didn't come over here to discuss the state of my health.
I did.
Well, it was made to appear far more serious than it actually was. A minor problem, I can assure you. I feel absolutely fine.
I'm glad to hear that.
And I dare say that you're glad that your side got such mileage out of my alleged heart attack, too.
Alleged? Daddy, it wasn't alleged. It was real. Are you trying to conceal that even now?
I told you it was nothing.
Daddy, it's over. We are not in the courtroom. Frankly, I'm a little concerned. You're looking very tired.
Would you actually prefer if I were sick?
No, I wouldn't, of course.
Come on, Mim, you got custody now. What else do you want?
Daddy, I am not here for an argument, but this behavior...
This behavior, go on.
The way you tried to deceive the court and the way you're trying to deceive me right now is exactly the kind of behavior I didn't want Eric to learn. That's been my complaint all along.
Well, it's all over now, isn't it? And Eric won't have the opportunity to even see his grandfather, let alone be influenced by, I believe you call it, my behavior?
That isn't necessarily true.
Oh, isn't it?
No.
Hey. Mwah.
So Ben already go to work?
Yeah.
Oh. Where's my little nephew?
He is sleeping. But you
Yeah.
can see him after breakfast.
Okay. Oh, breakfast? I had breakfast.
No!
Yeah. Hey, oh, you didn't mention anything on the phone about breakfast.
Well, okay, I know I didn't, but with your appetite, I figured you'd be eating.
Well, I took Vicky to breakfast.
Oh.
What is this? You know, every time I mention Vicky's name, somebody gets a long face. You want to explain it to me?
Peter, I didn't mean...
Is that why you invited me here? So you could throw in your 2 cents worth of the growing list of why I shouldn't marry her, huh?
Peter, that is not why I invited you here.
Sorry. But you think I'm rushing into it, I bet.
No, all I think is that marriage is an important enough thing, no matter who it is, no matter what the circumstance, that you should go into it very slowly and carefully.
Do you realize how long I've known her?
Yeah, but not with the intent to marry her.
Oh, I loved her the minute I met her. No one knows how long I've waited.
Peter, I can see why you're attracted to her. She is a very pretty girl.
Yeah. But you don't think it's love?
I didn't say that. I just think you should be cautious about a feeling that came on so strong and so suddenly.
And it lasts, and it lasts.
Peter, look. You've stood by Vicky, and I know that. But if there's one thing I've learned from being married, it's that the groundwork has to be laid ahead of time. It's a lifetime responsibility. I mean, no matter how ready you think you are, it really deserves a waiting period. A period where you both look at the responsibilities that are required of you. It's a forever commitment. Forever.
I know that. Everybody thinks I'm not too serious about this. I know. If it wasn't forever, I wouldn't do it.
Peter, I'm not saying anything against you, and I'm not saying anything against Vicky, really. I want you to think about it, and I want you to take your time.
So the night of the murder, you were in Perryville with your campaign manager at the Golden Inn. Isn't that right?
Well, perhaps I should let Sebastian speak for himself.
Oh, that's all right. I've already summoned him. He's waiting out in the hall.
Oh.
I'll try to think ahead.
If you doubt it, there was an entire TV crew from WRD there taping my jawboning with those dairymen.
Well, that's fine. I'm very glad that you've cooperated with me. I appreciate it.
That's it?
That'll be all for today. I just have to call Mr. Knight in here.
Well, I'll get him.
No, that's all right. The secretary can do it. Yeah, send Mr. Knight in here now, please.
You don't want us corroborating our information?
Just like in the movies.
Well, seriously, Sergeant, if you need anything more from me, I'm at your disposal.
Thank you. I may call on you again.
All right. I've got some courthouse business, but I'll wait for you out front.
Good. Mr. Knight, please, have a seat.
So, if it's agreeable with you, I'd like to propose that you and Eric spend some time together every week or so. On my terms, of course.
Well, that's very generous, Mem. Very generous indeed.
Well, Sunday afternoons would be convenient for me. What would you say to that?
I don't know what to say. Perhaps this religion of yours has given you the conviction so that you're considerate of my feelings. Mem, I never really wanted to take you to court. And I don't know that I'll ever be able to make it up to you either, but I just hope that we can recapture some of the closeness we once knew. And I would certainly say that the Sunday visitation rights is an encouraging step.
Grandparents aren't given visitation rights.
I know that. That's why I'm so touched by your generosity. And there's something else too, Mem. You are welcome to call this place home again any time you want to. That would make me very happy, and I want you to know I mean that with all my heart.
Thank you, but I honestly doubt that Eric and I will ever move back here again. Sundays? Are we on for Sundays, then?
Well, of course. And, Mem, I can't tell you how happy you've made me. I mean that.
Fine, I need to be going now, Daddy.
Mem, you'll never know how happy you've just made me feel. Mrs. Lucas? Mrs. Lucas?
Yes, Mr. Carpenter, what is it? Are you all right?
Yes, indeed, I am. Did you hear the offer my daughter just made?
Well, I couldn't help but overhear part of it, sir.
And did you notice how contrite and convincing I was?
Yes, I did hear you say some of the...
Mrs. Lucas, in 6 months, I will have full custody of Eric.
You're quite the actor, aren't you, sir? You certainly had me fooled. I'll get your tea now, sir.
I want to thank you for your cooperation, Mr. Knight. You've been very helpful.
Well, does that mean I'm dismissed?
Of course.
Well, thank you, Sergeant.
You know, I think it's admirable the way Mr. Carruthers is holding up under all this. Don't you?
You didn't know Kate very well, did you, Sergeant?
No, I'm afraid I didn't.
Splendid woman. Lee's inspiration. In fact, 9/10 of what's keeping him going now is her belief in him.
But you're a good campaign manager.
Well, when you have a candidate like Lee Carruthers, the campaign manager can't take very much credit.
How is all this affecting his campaign?
Well, naturally, we're calling off most of the scheduled events.
Yeah.
No one with a decent bone in his body would begrudge Lee this time of reflection and grief.
He's not going to pull out of the congressional race, is he?
Oh, no, no. On the contrary. Now, his continuing the campaign, in my opinion, would be the best medicine in the world for him right now. In fact, I'm sure he knows better than anybody that Kate herself would not only want him to continue, but to go out and win.
You've been very cooperative, Mr. Knight. I'm sure Mr. Carruthers is waiting for you.
Oh, well, my pleasure, Sergeant. My pleasure.